Hello, my name is Ranu. I have trained as an architect, specializing in residences, and currently I work with a REBA chartered practice in London. Based on my experience with house extensions, refurbishments, renovations, and landscaping, etc., today I will give you tips on how you can avoid the professional input of an architect or a designer. Please send me your queries on my email given in the description box below this video or comment in the comments section. I have other informative videos on how to control time and money during your home construction projects and how you can extend your house under permitted development rules. The links for those are also given in the description box. If you would like me to cover any other topics for clarity, please let me know that as well. So, when can you avoid an architect or a designer? The easy answer is when you are not planning any construction or renovation on your property. But if you are, then their input is invaluable. Or you can yourself take care of certain milestones that I'm going to show you in this video. And before we go further, if you are going to plan a building like this that you see on the screen, top left, then I would urge you definitely to consult an architect. But if you have a house similar to this illustration by Taria, and you're extending it or renovating it to include household rooms like a bigger kitchen, more bedrooms or bathrooms, then you need a few important documents and you will be on your way to becoming your own designer. And what are these milestones? If you can sort out these basic requirements of your project, then you can be very much in control. And out of these milestones that you see in these very colorful tabs that have flown on your screen, we will go through each one of them. Starting with the layout. What is a layout? A layout is also called the plan, which is how you see your house from the top after you have removed the roof or the ceiling. So the first thing to do here is imagine yourself like an angel floating above your house. The second thing to do is use your angelic powers to lift the roof or the ceiling of your house and look down at it. In the absence of such powers, you will have to draw the layout of your house on paper, showing the correct shape and size of your walls, doors, windows, and the proposed extension or changes. This drawing on paper should be to scale and a fairly accurate representation of what is and what shall be. Elements Property have a tutorial for this purpose online. Now, what does a layout look like, a professionally drawn one? So you see at the bottom right of your screen here, this is how a professionally drawn standard layout of any house would look. Why do you need to see a layout of your house on paper? The purpose of the layout is to define your daily use of the building. That should guarantee comfort and ease. The layout will determine the overall size of your building to make sure you satisfy your legal obligations. It will also tell you the size of the furniture that you should buy to fit in the space that you are creating. And very importantly, it will give you the first indication of money that is needed to build, an indication of your budget. So what happens if you start works without having this layout on paper with everything that there is and everything that you need? I shall illustrate that problem with a real life example. A dear friend of mine did his extension of the rear and the side of the property without a layout with him. And the dear friend was not a friend at the time this happened, but I've used his example in a retrospect to show it to you. So what he had was, if you look on your screen, the left-hand side, this was his existing house. So this, on the left-hand side of all this, red line, this was his existing house. He wanted to add a room on the rear. There was all garden here. This was the garden. The side was all garden. So he wanted to add two rooms, one big room here as a library and another room here next to his house. So his aim, what usually happens is when you don't have a layout on paper, you stand on site, you talk to a builder and you tell him what you wish. So again, this is what was actually constructed on site, which I've drawn later. There was no layout when all this was being made. So this is all existing that you see. And this is the new living that was added and a big library that was added. So my friend explained to the builder that he would like to connect the existing, so this was the dining room, the existing to the new library through the beautiful living, and he would like to walk out from his existing living to the new living out into the garden through these beautiful double doors. Similarly, the library would have beautiful double doors leading out into the garden. So what is the purpose of these two new rooms? Let's quickly discuss that, because you would know the purpose of what you want in your house. This library here on the right would be used to store books and relax and read, while this new living room here would make the original living room and the new into this huge, large, double aspect, beautiful room to entertain family and friends. Now, the absence of a layout or a plan on paper, which clearly shows you the furniture and the structure alongside, this gave rise to a very different scenario when his extension was complete. And let's see what happened when he was ready to move in with his furniture. When you place the furniture, it lands bang in the middle of the door openings that you've planned. So you see this pink shaded area on this whole pink shaded area is the active circulation space between the rooms, which is obstructed at every location by the sofas in the same room. So this beautiful double door is blocked by a sofa here. These huge double doors to the library are blocked by this two-seater here, and the gorgeous glazed doors, double doors leading out into the garden are blocked by this grand three-seater. Now, this can easily be avoided. This disappointment can be avoided by designing the layout on paper with all the necessary information on it. Let's look at the corrections that can be made using slight corrections and awareness. So this I was calling the proposed compromised layout, and this would be a planned and informed layout. So here you see that you have been able to maintain the visual connections between the existing dining through the new living to the new library using fixed glazing doors. And you move out to the garden using the double doors only in the library. You don't need to add double doors here in the living because your seating is anyway going to block it. So also you save muddy path from the garden to the house from the living room. Instead, you enter it through the library. So this having a layout like this with everything that you require helps you in two big ways. The first is you do not compromise on the use of the room. So the needs of the user are still paramount. In this example, so this is the compromised look and this is the well-planned look. In this example, you maintain the visual connections between the rooms and balance the circulation area with the sofas and the chairs. And the very important other aspect is you do not waste money. So you control your budget. You do not waste money by buying and installing items that are useless, like the big glass doors, this double door here in glass, again, a set of double doors in glass, and again, external glass doors here. You don't buy or install these glass doors because they are openable, but they are not utilized because of the seating arrangement in the room. Now, this you see in a plan, what we call a plan in 2-dimension. This should further be checked in a 3-dimension sketch of how your extension would look. So here on the screen, you see 3 options of the same extension so that the homeowner can make an informed decision regarding the height of the roof at various places and the type of roof. This option has a flat roof, which is a green roof, with a sloping side roof, which is all glazed. This option has a cutout in the roof. The third option has 2 flat roofs, and all of them show you the location of the skylights. Now, skylights are needed to brighten up the dark corners of your rooms. If you miss adding in a skylight, you will spend more on electricity bills and deprive your body of natural nourishment to keep you in good mood and health. This sort of a sketch will also help you decide how many doors leading to the garden, or they're also known as patio doors, do you need? How many of them should be fixed? How many should be openable? They can be bifolds, they can be sliding, folding, they can be hinged. What should the material be? Should it be plastic UPVC, chic thin steel frames, or a composite frame? All these decisions that you make right now will have a direct impact on your budget and your timelines. And these layout decisions together will tell you whether your extension in its width, in its depth, in its height is satisfying your legal obligations under permitted development rules, or if you have to apply to the council for a formal planning permission. So, developing the best layout while keeping your money and your legal constraints in mind is the first milestone for you to become a designer of your own house. So there, the shape and size, it will help you get your right permission and also help with you with your budget. Let's now go on to your legal obligations, which I was just discussing. Your legal obligation for making your extension or renovation refurbishment are towards two main bodies, the local council planning department and the building regulations authority. The planning permission is obtained from your local council, who are concerned about the final outer size of your extension. The building regulations checks the health and safety of your building, which will affect the health and safety of its occupants later. Well, to get certification, you need to submit your plans or your drawings or your layout and more information to both these bodies, and then make sure that you follow their guidelines during the construction period. And you have to get permission from both the bodies to stay within the law. There's another thing you have to concern yourself with, CDM 2015, which is Construction Design and Management, under which you have a duty to look after the health and safety of your site and the workers working on your site during construction. Another important thing is the party wall award. Make sure you have served your immediate neighbors with the party wall notice if it is applicable. If you do not do this in time, then your neighbor has the right to get a legal injunction to stop your construction. And what happens if I think that I don't need any legal, I'm not bound by these because no one is going to find out because my extension is at the back of my house. A neighbor can complain very easily, and we have seen this happen. It is not rare. Not getting the correct certifications might easily invite a legal notice of penalty fine, a court case against you, or the removal of your illegal extension. So please design your extension to comply with the laws so none of this happens. Now let's look at the services in a building, which are mostly hidden. The services of a building, for a building, include things like the heating systems, which heat your room, your spaces, and the water. Alarms like fire alarms, security alarms. I have chosen these two examples that you see on the screen. Underfloor heating is a part of your services. This is trending these days and it is very useful. You should know where to install wet or electric underfloor heating. You have to decide the benefit that you will get from these, which rooms and which flooring type is suitable to either of these underfloor heating. Then the energy source. Choose an efficient energy source. It can be a combi boiler alongside a hot water tank, depending on the size and usage by your family. You could install heat pumps, which are becoming very popular, air source and ground source heat pumps. You could you actually install PV solar panels on your roof to generate electricity for your own use, and then you decrease your utility bills. You could also feed the extra electricity generated back to the grid and earn some money. So a judicious use of these services will give you better immediate comfort. It will give you long-term cost savings. It will instantly lower your carbon footprint, which most of us are acutely aware of. And it might also make you eligible for government grants. Now, let's talk about money. If you can be sure of the budget for your project, then you can be in control of the outcome. How can you be sure of the budget? My tip would be give a set of tender drawings and tender documents to your builder so he can renovate your house using those or extend your house using those. What do they look like? So on the left-hand side of your screen, you'll see these are tender drawings. They look busy and beautiful. And this written document that you see here is usually called a schedule of works. I call it poetry in construction. Why are these documents important? These documents include all things possible that need to go in the structure of your building and on top of the surfaces like tiles, light fixtures, the circuits, the number of circuits, the switch plates and sockets, the bathroom fixtures, the door window details, your hard and soft landscaping details. And how does this help? Clearly mentioning all the items required and the quality of workmanship that you desire will give you a firmer budget for your project. And this will lead to less shocks of cost escalation midway your construction. So to define the control of your budget through tender drawings and documents, what are these? Tender drawings and documents are your expectations that are written down for your builder to understand and deliver for you. We come to the last point that I think is important for you to be in control of, the timeline of your project. Do you have a date by which your project will complete? Are you living on site? Are you renting elsewhere? If you cannot control the completion date, then you will have to pay more in off-site rent and inconvenience because your project has taken longer than promised. To control the completion time of your project, sign a contract with your builder. Companies like JCT and RIBA have ready available contracts that are used for this purpose. Once you sign a contract with your builder, run that contract when the construction starts to make sure that you and your builder avail of all the benefits that a contract offers to you. You should also train yourself or have the ability to judge any changes that happen on site or are initiated by your builder or requested by your builder. And you should be able to correctly calculate the cost implications arising from those changes as it will have a bearing on your budget and your timelines. So those are the 5 things that you should know. If you can take care of these actions, then you can control most of the important aspects of your project, your extension, renovation, refurbishment. And if you think you do need professional help, then before thinking that you cannot afford a costly service of an architect or a designer, click on the video link in the description box below that explains how can architects save you money. Then make an informed decision. Finally, I would like to thank you for your attention. Email me your questions on my email given in the description box below, or type your queries in the comments section. I wish you a successful transformation into a designer for your own house. Thank you.